Hello, this is Phoenix who has reviewed everything since the video got deleted pretty much somehow. Now, pretty much, and I'm more sure you want to notice, mostly my deck for defense, Traptrix, 2 Max C, 2 Ashes, like standard, 2 Traptrix minus, just mostly the Traptrix monsters are affected by whole effects from the main monsters, while the Link ones are affected by all traps, while the Seas ones need Seas materials to be unaffected. Traptrix Marshmallow. I add one hole, excellently special one, it removes one spell trap, which is useful the whole event. Traptrix Dino. Essentially, it would be my second search monster if I actually have a search engine going. If I have Mario in my grave, then Dino will be my second one I'm into place. Since I can special summon one Traptrix when summoned, and when this card is special summoned, you can target one whole normal trap card in your grave, set that target, but banish it during the end phase of your next turn if it's still in the field. Overall, Traptrix Dino is mostly made to go like this a lot, since that's the main special summon monster. Traptrix make this. When this card's normal summon, you can add one Traptrix monster, bring your hand, deck to your hand. Essentially, it's all your filters. Then, once per turn, you can target one set spell or trap, return it to that target to hand, then you set one spell trap. You can also utilize it for, again, stuff like Lightning Storm, for example. If we had something like that, or something is being targeted in your spell and trap card zone with it on the field. Since it's a good way to prevent removal. One Traptrix Vesicolo. Let's see, you can send one set trap card you control the gray spell summon this card from your hand. If you control normal cards in your spell trap card zone, you can banish this card for engraved and target one whole normal trap card in your grave. Set it to your field. Essentially, it's easy +2. In a sense, you can send one trap if you don't have something. And utilize that, and mostly go into the link. Go into Link C's afterwards. Utilizing this as the first material. Then go into that. Then if you have Fathom Knights of Shade, essentially, if you have no traps, you can special summon it and utilize that for the main link I'm going to show you. Paleozoic C is mostly for my link to go to my C's mostly more easily, since they're more generic mostly. Or utilize it for other plays, my extra deck. Nibiru, if they overcommit, they get punished. But I'm mostly not thinking it's not worth it much anymore to run outside of like something like Super Heavy Samurais first event. I'm starting to think to add one more Traptrix somewhere. One Mirror Force, standard for a time removal. 2 Torrents, mostly for its destruction. You mostly want to utilize it for your links. Or if you have a link Traptrix monsters in the field that are special in that way. Giant Trap Roll, mostly against pendulums. Boy Trap Roll, mostly opponent special summons a 2000 attack more, negate the effects of one of those monsters and destroy it. It's a good way to actually get removal happening. 2 Traptrix Troll Hole Nightmare, when a monster that was supposed to turn activates effect on opponent's field, they get that effect if you do destroy that card. It's mostly what I'm thinking of just running one more. Personally, I'm thinking over Giant Trap Hole, I feel like, or just one more for 45 card deck. But it's going to break more than I feel like from the few times I've done it. 2 Trap Holes with Spikes. When a monster that's normal or special summon turn to declares attack, destroy the attack monster, we do affect damage to a point equal to half the original attack that monster, which is useful. Mostly. If they don't know what you had face down early on, Trap Hole with Spikes is pretty much what we're going to go towards. But the nice to show you that explained, and you should already have 3 copies personally for this event. Floodgate Trap Hole, when opponent special summons a monster, chains the monster to face down defense position, monsters chains to face down position by second have changed the battle position. Also utilize Bad Knights mostly for your rank 4s. Break off Trap Hole, when a link monster link summon, destroy all monsters not in the field aren't linked. It's mostly the standard play. 2 Emperors, I have 3 technically. 3 train handles, which are essentially called by the grave. That makes them so that I had to banish one more copy from the hand or deck with the same original name as a card, and it did not. You can banish one random card from the hand. It's getting any have traps or anything in particular that I have multiple copies of. You're pretty sure they don't have. It's a good way to make the -1 during the whole loop or such. Next up, Grave Taker's Drop Pull. When your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or grave, or when your opponent puts Monster if it is activated, negate its effect, and you do inflict 1,000 points of damage. It's good to get rid of hat traps or effects that actually proc in your hand, like Danger, for example. Solemn Judgment, that's staple. 3 Traptrix levels, which are, well, it has mysterious materials, it's unaffected by trap cards. Traptrix monster controls can be destroyed by battle card effects, so that's mostly the way to get out of the outs for everything else. And your opponent cannot target Traptrix monster control except Traptrix levels for the card effects. And next up, once per turn, attach 1 material from this card, and then 1 hold normal cards in hand that makes 6 additions from deck to grave. This effect becomes that trap card's effect when that card is activated. Essentially, it's an easy way if you have your field filled up to the brim with stuff, to mostly so you don't have to overcommit or have to lower my hand, and you can always set it directly with some other cards. Time Thief, just go to generic, mostly make our opponent lose cards start with the deck and attach materials, mostly for the banish monster card. When utilizing most of our engine that destroys all players' side of field monsters, like with Torrent. Or just also for removal for traps, the spell doesn't matter. This is if a normal monster, it's every single effect is activated, and that's where he said all trap link monsters are be unable to be targeted by traps. If a normal trap card is activated, you can also in 1 trap monster that's different from the ones you control. If your other Traptrix monster effect is activated, you can set 1 whole number directly from the deck. Essentially, the main goal is to have 2 of this, so you can activate both effects more easily. There aren't links, for example. Nightmare Phoenix, mostly for generic reasons. But also so I can set some cards in my hand to grave. Or to go in, or go with random things, I actually feel like it. Traptrix Accelerate. After you activate a whole normal card, you can send, instead of sending, you set it again during end phase. You can target 1 Traptrix monster to grave, special summon in defense. It's pretty much the ultimate monster in a sense. That you can actually utilize some stuff to get removal out of the field. Triple Burst Dragon. Once per turn during the damage step, a monster card is activated, you can negate it, and it does card attacks. The defense special deal piercing. During your main phase, except discard summon, you can summon this card and summon up 1 link 2, which is the main purpose. Mostly me are Traptrix monsters. If we need to, after game removals, when we need, Bowsword. It's mostly utilized against a battle once per turn. Effect, you can target 1 attack position monster, change the defense, and this card can deal to do 1 more second attack. Your opponent can activate cards or effects in response to this card activation. And mostly, when it clears attack and takes that monster, they can drain it, but like you see, like Dark Rebellion, and essentially gets half attack points. It's on steroids, essentially a walking version of it. That's not upon like the main phase that boring turn. As this code, everyone should know is Borland. Everyone should know I'm only using it for the fact it can't be destroyed. That neither player can be destroyed by battle card effects, and it can be targeted with monster effects. Let's just say pretty much I'm actually glad at least I don't have to worry about making start recording this time like I was going to merge to. And the fact that I don't have to deal. I didn't delete this yet since I figured I might as well use back in case. Darklord deck, there's a whole lot of them, and I don't feel like going over all of them. So I'm just going to show the picture, spend the Scout Blaster. The easy monster to actually so you can link pop off. Dark Harness, which is most stable, essentially is reverse Dark Harness for dark monsters. But involving opponent monster losing it, Dark Lamary, a classic card. All I know is that this deck really can break a lot from the monster department, I feel like. Not anymore, not too much. Dimensional Wall, people should be running it personally if your deck actually really can't afford to. Jarvis, essentially the trap version of it, but instead of drawing 1 card, it's not that good. Storming Mirror Force, Darklord Enchantment, Lost Winds, Heavy Storm Duster, everyone should be running it personally for this event. Back to the front. Next on the fusion monster, which I do not understand how the heck that card is actually supposed to pop off or show up personally. Everything, not surprising. Kodome Darkling Link. Personally, early this should be running a few more. IP Masquerade, personally, some people should have one personally, or at least two. But you only want one at least for a deck, mostly, I feel like. Black Soldier Chaos, which is not surprising. Lord Dragon, they're probably running both sorts of same reason Amium. Bola Guard, essentially, so they can have a counter. And they can also special one monster. It's very generic, personally, if you need to. But it's really the better one. Magnites, which are essentially the most non-diverse one, I feel like, since it needs special monsters. Overall, I don't feel like going over that deck a lot. Overall, I decided to click the images. I feel like some people should know it. Personally, that deck is probably gonna break. And also, I made a couple of misplays here. Not getting used to combo wise. Gonna pop up this. Essentially, I could have actually activated Phantom Knights. Essentially, get off this. And I could special summon go into 1 Link 4, but I didn't think about it at first. Since this was my first match utilizing the deck. Got one with 1 Hound Trap. Trigger triple. Got pop off. So someone for destroy back to friend was destroyed, which is useful. Essentially, this one would have allowed him to draw 2 cards, paying 1,000. And when the target one Darklord spell, apply that target effect to shuffle the target into the deck. Essentially, I run Monster, but it doesn't matter. Go into Traptrix, pop off Parallel. Essentially, I should have realized that that card would have actually not mattered. I should have gone to my Link, essentially, first. I should have gone to my Xyz, personally, first. That's what I should have done. So I could at least had some life points to work with. And nothing I had can be destroyed by battle. I could have still had... I could still had Marilyn on the field. And I could still go and seize that point. Essentially making a advantage it. You're right. What I don't need. Essentially, I'm trying to get Chain Link. Actually, to refill in my hand. I didn't have anything technically to end that battle. If it was a monster, it wouldn't have mattered. So essentially, I went to Link 3, Go Talker. Mostly so I at least have higher life points to work with. But mostly so I can actually get the rest of the stuff I need, like sorry. Go into that, go into Go Talker. Essentially go in for game. I decided to go to that for destruction for reasons for my dailies. Go Talker was essentially my one-time one-of when I was testing out this deck my first time. I didn't realize it wasn't that good at commenting because I did not have much generics to work with. Next up, pretty much, is this Exodia, essentially with all draw powers making me gain light points. With cards that correctly allowed to draw cards, with Sangin, mostly utilize it for the Dark World, for the ritual stuff. Including some stalling cards. Next up with some Dark Spirit Greed. With help for escape, essentially dealing life point damage difference between us. Sorcery Spark is the only thing I worry about in Soul Spring King, if I actually face it at all. Personally, that this is the reason why you don't always target stuff, so you always stop stuff from happening or have it out. Also, I also forgot to mention, I also just got one of these just now. I forgot to mention that when I was redoing this video. I got a rare copy of it, more fancier. When I was going for like trying to get my last cards I need. 4 Traptrix for yours from one missing Traptrix monster that I somehow pretty much I didn't spend like 6,000 gems and I didn't a single copy. Link-wise, this is probably the best. I also would recommend picking up on Arnold, I feel like, for negation. They're not write anything unusual. For extra deck wise, that aren't generics, but they have a lot more better stuff to utilize. Overall, this match I'm going to be commenting about eating. Much. So I'm not mute my mic. Oh wait, I can push pause, I forgot. Overall, my hand was alright. I had a bureau, I had it mine. The overcommit. I was like, I'm dealing with 4 cards already? What the heck am I facing? I went for anything I might need for this whole match. Activate this, activate skill, plus some Traptrix. I should have gone into my other one. Which I realized afterwards I could have gone some destruction on the way, and I should have done that. But I'm also worried about a certain card that special summons for an extra deck. So my whole premise was that card's gonna be annoying if I deal with it. So anymore, I was like, okay. Go to Traptrix Mini. Go into today. Go into one more link for Traptrix 3. I didn't have much intake off and saw more Saga. I'm like, what the heck am I facing? Essentially, I should have sent up Marmario at this point. I should have sent Marmario to the, I should have supposed to send Marmario personally, though, but I'm always worried. But I was starting to realize I'm just facing other decks at this point. Like this grade, they have stalling cards. They have draw power. I'm dealing with Exodia at this point. This is a trap variant. Go into second Slay. Mostly stem my links. But also so I can go more attack power. Okay, let me just take a look. I sent 2 links to grave. I could have gone for a game easily. That's the thing I realized afterwards. I overcommitted. Like I could end it last turn definitely. You guys have done any more. Go into that. Mobiga, I'm like, what the heck am I dealing with? So, go into Time Thief mostly so I can stall, but also so I can get rid of the deck thinning they have. Essentially, I got a trap card, which is the more useful one. Get rid of that hand trap they have. Since all of these things need to be sent to field to grave. Essentially, I got their last Sagan, which I got all their loops to work with. It was the most useless thing. I was like, I could have ended this like 2 turns ago if I actually didn't go for more links. Overall, the next deck essentially got Swordsoul, which isn't that surprising. Alongside cards, Spec Fillers, Tenrei, mostly for extensions. Maxi, Ash, not surprising. Tenrei, also utilizing Tenrei Spirits alongside Swordsoul Moye. So Solitaria, I feel like most people should know this deck a little bit more, especially last festival, I feel like. With all this, what the last Synchro was essentially about, with all the season links, Xyz. Yeah, Xyz variants. That happened. I feel like everyone should know about it more. They essentially banish monsters to reveal them, and they go into the worms. Nibiru, Heavy Storm, Emily Match was not surprising, Imperm. Swordsoul Blackout. Finally, Red Reboot. This is essentially the best one they have for generic wise. Since you can target one Yangs of monster control and one card punch rolls, destroy that target. When this card you control is destroyed by a card effect, special one horn monster. Next suddenly they also had this, which allows them to return things to my deck, which is an easy reshuffle removal. Dragon Berserker, which is alright. When the monster activates, destroy it, then the two destroys attacking. It's the best generic level 8. Mister, I didn't understand what the heck didn't realize it much, but considering most of their. Since they're mostly the main target of the deck, it's mostly a water type, it makes sense, I guess. And one experience, so technically the red card. They got Grandmaster, which is the most best one they have. Go into Phantoms, which is easy enough to prevent wind, but they didn't actually have anything for Earth, which is the best part of my deck. Since outside Maxine, they had to go for one level 1, which they practically will need a level 4 to mostly work with, which they can't. Brenda Flail was been 1, Soul Supreme, Soul Sister, and accidentally Mugs to actually go pop off with their original 10 Radiant Spirits. Just one real quick. Oh no, was I supposed to at least upload this last night so this processing happened? Essentially, this time I actually, what I'm doing. They just made a huge mistake. Like, if they wanted me to pop off first, they should have activated Maxine and worry about effect value some other point. This is not worth solving. I trained it with Maxi. It wasn't worth going into. Outside of that card's pretty much the worst threat. This match I was like, you're just making me not want to commit or give you cards. Just give up. Essentially, I said rest since impermanent essentially was the best option. Channel I can always get more of. This one I didn't matter. The one just realized that they may misplay a bow, but what mattered. Since I still have it out for everything. The best part is that they commit one more. I couldn't improve them. To utilize the flow, if one Meg Builder, utilizing everything that's flow related that isn't restricted or limited. Maxi. 2 Ash for Rising. They're also using Jinzo, Cyber Dragons, and Banny's Fiend. Outside the mostly common cards like Flows. Level summons. Overall, Cyber Dragon is probably the best thing, especially for the matchup. Personally, you're better off crafting at least, or trying to grab more Mega Fleets for how generic it is. Since there are rarely some cards that at least are useful, like Herds. Like, Core would have been best used Tekken, technically, for a Jinzo deck, I feel like. Since you can still plus easily off it if it's destroyed by battle. But, so you also don't overcommit, since most of the deck it will be easy access towards it. And also running some Kajus, personally. Draw Greed, Trap Bull, not surprising. Draw of Irish, which essentially is just the lamest trap ever for people running, I feel like. It really much, I should be crafting one more. Bleeding Perms was alright. Waking the Dragon essentially is the one card I hate this whole festival, since you might see it a lot, and I fucking hate that card. Sorry for bad language, that's the only one time. Thank you for this whole video. Yeah, using slows, shell traps, healing, and also trap monsters. Kinetic Fortress, essentially, I feel like it's a dead card. You might as well just be running 2 and something else. And next, suddenly some cards that don't make sense, so deck since they can't go into it or fall on best of all things. Art Slime's alright. Mega Flea is also a thing. Being Ascaring. And other Goddess. One Link 5, which is the most annoying one. Because this card negates all effects monsters when Link Summon. But also, so they can also utilize one monster control and use Link Summon to special summon this card. So that card's also a good punishment, essentially, mind. If you go into OTK. Overall, looks like deck's mostly not surprised about Summer Dragons, but one thing I'm not surprised about to face this whole festival. After this, I gotta take a shower, I guess. Because I'm going out, so. I'm gonna let the head one of these things gonna be uploaded. Add one trap monster, essentially I decided to add Jimmy. Since with this, I got a whole lot of loose to work with. I got 2 ashes I can work with a lot. Even in the match, I was like, oh my god, I don't have that necessary, but I decided to go to melee. Overall, I was like, that's not the worst move they make, but eh. Break off Trouble essentially was my best thing else to do since I didn't know what I'm dealing with, and I can still link easily. Go to another one, especially get rid of non-special slime, which is just going destroyed. So one Void Chapel, special summon. Go into Exceeds number 4. Empire Mirror. Essentially, I decided to go to Beatdown. Overall, it wouldn't have mattered. Overall, that battle. Essentially, this is a burn deck, also utilizing cards like Star of all things, which is the most stupid card, and Darklord Nurse. That they only do it to any damage you gain is actually likewise gain is actually deals damage. Utilizing a few cards, which there is a whole lot of cards that make you gain life points. Personally, from what I can see, this whole deck outside gift card, which is a possible OTK. I feel like. Try guys is like I don't understand what the heck cards you are. It should have been SR since it needs an extra deck. Making the dragon still the most scary card ever. Traptrix was surprising. Bad reactions to summary. Next up, they're also not using much generic cards. I feel like they were just utilizing a bunch of stuff, but they should have gone for a 50-50 split for fusions and stuff. So that you have to mostly probably towards one though, but you might as well just do 5-5-5 of each extra deck option at that point. So even it's not that good, you go for a good generic one, so you have something to work with for trying, I guess. Overall, this video is almost done anyway. Essentially, my opening thoughts were is that I have a whole lot of stuff I can utilize. I got Chain Hole, I got Imperm, I got a whole lot to work with. I got essentially some macro. Go into link 4. Go into Peril. Just as this, I was like, I'm dealing with Burn? Try to guess what I'm annoying. Time to take 3 doers since I know I'm dealing with now. I can go full out, which is a lot of stuff. Trigger Blast was more annoying. Essentially, I'm mostly trying to get the burn I had. Essentially, interesting on slime would have been the worst thing I faced, but also trying at least, as I figure as trap deck, I also got the most worst card I can actually do. Get Unperm here. Go to memory. Go to what monster I need. Essentially, if I get burned one more time, I will be dead. I finally got a trap which I can utilize. Go for removal. Also, so I don't have to be destroyed. Go into link 2, go into Surrey. Surrey skill, I'll go with my Mario. Mostly so I can destroy whatever card they have. Essentially, that banish was a good thing. They should have waited for timing wise. Didn't say it would deal me 1000, I was still enough. And in turn, I'm like, really? I said exactly just enough monsters to deal damage here per game. Overall, I persevered, which was good. overall, that match was pretty much just boring, more in my opinion, I think. Overall, it was just a stable copy-paste of the Dinomorphia Dinosaur deck. Nothing much to go over, since most people mostly watch this, I feel like, at this point, or know the deck enough, where it just plans to go over. At least, at the very end, I know how to deal with this deck, which is something I can work with, and I can also get rid of some stuff. But I did not know I'm dealing with at this point. It could be anything. I'm going for full combos and stuff. Essentially going for a Traptrix hand through my hand. Since I technically could have a trap pull, but I did not know what kind of trap pull I could have done. But I also could have gone into my link, so I can also go to link 4. I mean, go to season number 4. Activate train trap pull. Since that does allow me to do the piercing in them, and accidentally express in this, go and do that. I knew to have a Dinomorphia fusion somewhere, but I did not know where. Go into link 4, go into Nursery. Probably go into both, but it does allow me to chain it. Go into memory, get the last trap card, since I know it is this point. Go into one monster set, Void Trap Hole. I was like, they're going for a whole lot of stuff. I was like, those two I removed the one card to hand, those two could have done. Go into link 0 for Time Thief. Essentially, I mistimed all my attacks. I should have gone for the. I should have gone to attack all my rank gates, my links. Because I figured at this point he's going to go all defensive, but apparently not enough. I should have just done that. I think I figured it was the right choice since I know most of the deck, and now I'm ready to get some cards out of there if I need to. Going to set one more, set my break off throw. But special summons revives, but I'm like, it doesn't really matter. And essentially destroy again. But it allows them to special one monster. They go into link. They could have gone into C's here. They could have gone down and actually prevent me from going for game. Throw the time thief here. I decided it was worth the risk since I could go for a trap or get rid of anything unstable. Go into a Traptrix therapy. Roll to this, go into this. Essentially, I destroy everything on the field. That's not my Traptrix. Domain, it's pointless. Go into my chain hole. Go for another trap hole. Special summon. Go into my link 4. Go into also mostly so I can maximize my attack. Since I'm tired of playing my food and I know they don't have anything in field as long as I don't get rid of domain. Domain would have been the only way I could lose that point. Since I knew most of the cards. Domain would have just bashed it. Oh wait, never mind. But they would have still stalled. I was playing like this whole match. I felt like they were making me play my food. And I effing hated it enough that I decided to go for Aura Command at that point. Never make me play with my food in a deck. Mostly, this is just a Traptrix card deck that mostly uses the whole lot of Agents, especially Eldlich, which doesn't make sense. This is the only card I still need craft in this whole deck. Mostly a whole lot of burn as well, options. With still blazing. Also running a precision. But I feel like with this kind of deck, you're essentially going to break more often than I feel like. Especially with everything possible. Overall, this deck has too many agents to working with it that it's pretty much almost unplayable. Like, outside the Traptrix monsters are not nuts to go with. Also, the only season I don't have, I'm just debating to actually get a second one. Overall, it's not something I'm gonna work with. Also, this card's like hard to summon, so I cursed 2 times since all videos released. Overall, that deck has too many agents to work with. If it was just one big power combo deck, it'll make sense. But for this whole match, I don't feel like it's necessary unless I'm going to that clone's videos that need it. I said 2 trade holes. I also got Summon. I can work with this. Especially going for this, I had 1 Traptrix to be effect or Ash to have. Going to my Link 4 being Surrey. Since I got a lot of stars to work with hand traps, I figured it was alright to open with. I was like, am I dealing with Eldlich or am I dealing with Burn again? Remember this, special summon it. Set my lit trap. Ash here. Take Paper's Treble. I was like, I need to prep this thing early. Go into memory. Go into that. It's going to destroy it either way. But I might as well, at least, so I don't have to deal with much. They're going to Solomon. I summon them back. Go into Peril. They have Traptrix, which is pointless, since they will need another trap card to activate most of their effects. And also light points not much to work with. And also forgot that I targeted should have targeted my monster. My main deck monster one. Last match essentially gets Toad. So that's Toad, Rain Toad, Maxine, Cardcore. And Dinosaur, which I personally feel like they should have 2 for this deck. But since I don't see an outside of utilizing the Paleozoic like cards and also utilizing Economy of Fortune, which is Economy Hard Part, is trying to go into Chain Link 4 with it. I feel like without all the pails going off. Since you also need discard cards, there are technically better options to utilize to draw cards, I feel like, versus that. Sky Cavalry, which is alright card, but it essentially returns the target to hand, which is alright. Paleozoics, mostly US fusions, including totally awesome, which is not surprising for his deck. Using Downward Magician. And next only is Zeus, which is alright. Overall, it's only this thing done. Got somewhere to be. Just around half an hour and I need to get dressed and everything. Or at least get cleaned up. Because I got to check out this. This time wasn't going out. I decided to build to bed at Ash's point, get Traptrix down. Go on the 3 cards face down. I have an action for every single possibility. I was like, am I dealing with Eldlich again? Alright, agent source with it. Go this, go on trap pull. Go for boy trap pull. Set a second bully trap pull. I could have just gone for a regular attack and realized afterwards. But I was like, I want to utilize all my combos as much as possible. Nibiru, I was like, this card's dead in my hand. Go out to Mumio, essentially get some back removal finally happening. Go to train drop pull. I also get rid of all maxis now they have. I might deck them though, but it's not worth it. Go into Link 2, being sorry. Go into Traptrix way. I think this is the point they decided to give up, I think. Since they realized everything I have is on fields on fight pet traps. So everything must be card, not be good card-wise or all. Overall, that's in the matches and videos. Thank you for watching.